Rabbi say, there's good news and there's bad news. The good news is that you still have till 12 o'clock to buy a Powerball ticket, and you will have a 1 out of 175 million chance to win. The bad news is, what if you win? Okay? Father used to tell me, Rabbi Salanter once said that somebody asked him to buy a lottery ticket on behalf of the yeshiva. He said he's scared. I said, you're scared of losing? He said, no, he's scared of winning. You know that statistically there is a far, far greater chance to be hit by lightning than to win the ticket. So I want to ask you a kasha in human psychology. If wherever you go now there are lines of people, maybe people miss the gas line so they want to run back there. If wherever you go now there are lines of people buying the Powerball ticket, knowing they have a chance out of 175 million, and there's a 10 times greater chance to be hit by lightning. So according to that cheshbon, the entire country should be walking around with lightning rods on their head. No? I mean, obviously, if people are buying the ticket, so they're assuming that there's a reasonable chance that they're going to win. And if the chances are so much greater to be hit by lightning, so how come everyone's walking around with, I'm sure people have daigas, people have concerns, people have worries, people have things that are tossing and turning at night, but you really have to go through all of your list of worries until you get to you're worried about being hit by lightning, right? I know, it sounds to me like it's a much bigger chance. I mean, they do the math. Okay? So, I'll try to analyze this a little bit. Why do people think that it's worth buying a ticket, but they don't have a lightning rod on their head? It could be that people think, this is the rationale, I deserve to win the lottery. I know there's 300 million people in America, but how many are there like me that truly deserve to win this? Okay? I do not deserve to be hit by lightning. Which is the reason you have 50 million people buying the ticket right now. Because 50 million people believe that they deserve to win the lottery. They don't deserve to be hit by lightning. So let's go into some of the statistics. Somebody looked this up for me. About the history of lottery winners. And how it changed their lives. So let me give you some things here that may make you get online to ask for a refund for your ticket, which is probably the most reasonable way that you can get any money out of your ticket right now. The divorce rate goes up tremendously amongst lottery winners. The depression rate goes up tremendously amongst lottery winners. These are very firm statistics. Family rifts widen tremendously amongst lottery winners. Health deteriorates. Lifespan deteriorates amongst lottery winners. Now, some say that health is just slow death. You know, if you look at the world that way. Now, another reason why it may be in someone's best interest not to win the lottery is, relatively speaking. I mean to say is the amount of relatives that you have goes up tremendously after you win the lottery. As a matter of fact, it is suggested that as soon as you win a lottery, you should buy some type of a wristband for your hand, which is going to be extremely strained by the amount of mortgages you're going to be co-signing for all of your extended family. Because what's your excuse not to? Some more milas to whet your appetite about winning the lottery. It is a virtual guarantee that your kids le'achar me'ah v'esrim shana won't be talking to each other. Okay, I've often said that there were these two brothers, their father died, he left them nothing. They said, let's sit on opposite sides of the shul and make believe like we're not talking to each other. They said, why? This way people will think Tati left us money and maybe the shadchanim will, for our kids. If we talk to each other, everyone will realize, they realize we're still friends, then, in other words, two brothers, they were friends, they were friends their whole life, and then it came to a Yerusha thing, and as unfortunately the case is, the the Yerusha divided the whole family, extended family, and they're really going at each other, and a Rav got involved, and he made Shalom between the two brothers. They didn't really want to make Shalom. Finally, they got together, even though they were not happy how the Yerusha was distributed, and he told them to drink a l'chaim, and from now on we're friends, and they had no choice. They drank the l'chaim, and the Rav said, "Nu vinshon," give him a bracha. He goes, listen, I wish you all the best. And the other brother says, okay. So I wish that whatever's in your heart that you wish me, I wish you also. He goes, he's starting already? Ready starting? We just make peace. Okay, so that's one of the big milas here of winning the lottery ticket, that it's almost a guarantee that your kids will never speak to each other. Okay. Some of the other fringe benefits that come along with winning the lottery ticket. You'll probably have to hire a gatekeeper in front of your house and windows, and have to go unlisted and restricted numbers and everything else. You will probably spend the rest of your life worrying till all your kids are home if they weren't kidnapped or they weren't anything. And let me tell you something. Good luck when you walk in to negotiate your kids' tuition. You know what I mean? Aha! You're here. It's very schwer now. They ask you what kind of car you drive. They ask you what kind of car you drive. Good luck when your married kids are going to try to collect the debt. Your father, we have to, you're going to go to your employer and ask for a raise. What? Never, right? Your employees will ask you of a raise. You're saying no. Try to go negotiate a new car. And then also your attitude in life changes. Whereas till now, when you came into shul and somebody was in your seat, you simply sat in the next seat. But now that you're a lottery winner and you come into shul and someone is in your seat, no. Your blood will boil. If till now, you weren't so excited about shishi, now it's going to totally change. No, what do you mean? As that story I've mentioned many times that I heard from Rabbi Yankel Galinsky's Zayin Gesund, that this guy is standing there, and the poor guy, Shmerel says to the rich guy in town, he says, "Can you please buy me a lottery ticket?" That's what you need, a lottery ticket? He goes, "You don't have shoes, you don't have socks." He goes, "At least I'll have something to dream." Shine, okay. So he goes to the lottery office, and he purchases 2 tickets. He goes, 101 is his, 102 is Yankel's Shmerel's. And then he comes home, and it goes by a couple of weeks, and he decides, just haphazardly looks in the paper, and he sees, that 102 won, big mega bucks. He's beginning to think, did I really say 101 is mine and 102 is his? There's a Rashi at the beginning of Parshas told us that says that the baby that's born first is really the second one, because in creation he's first because you come out second. If Yaakov bought the B'chayra from Esav, I could l'chayra, buy that. And then he says, oh, this is no good here. This is no, he's Breira, Huber double Mafreya. Vada would have never meant for him to have 101 if I knew he won, so Huber double Mafreya. The Vada, and by a deraisa we pass in a Yeshbre, all of a sudden he says, uh-oh. He says, if I wait till tomorrow morning, I'm going to keep this money. So in the middle of the night, he gets on his horse, he runs over, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, he pounds on the guy's door, guy comes running, who's there in the middle of the night? He says, it's me, town Gvir. He goes, oh, you. He opens up the door, the poor guy is all embarrassed, the holes in his socks, and everything's caving. He goes, we're renovating here, that's why the old pipes are sticking out. Yeah, he says, listen, why are you coming at 3 o'clock in the morning? He says, I knocked on your door at 3 o'clock in the morning, because I don't want to be Oymed ben Asayan, and I want to tell you that you won the lottery. Anyone else knows about it? No, I'm the only one that knows about it. He goes, so you know that I'm a mega millionaire? Yeah. Chutzpah, you knock on my door at 3 o'clock in the morning, he says to me. Dare you, Right, so your attitude changes tremendously. And I'm not sure that people really, most people will probably like the old you better. We continue now with the chasarin list of winning the lottery. You know that you're never going to hear a sincere compliment again, right? Because no one, criticizes multi-billionaires. You don't do that. Yeah? So you're going to lane noyach with, you're going to make lane noyach with Zib and Grazen. You're going to make all the mistakes in the world, Like the guy said, went over to a Balkair once, he said, I see that you're like, must be a pharmacist. He goes, why? You see, you're making your own, in Yiddish, the trup means drops. He said, you're making your own trups over there, I see. You know, everyone come over, oh, that was gewaldic. You know, you're going to give a Shabbos HaGadol drasha when you're a multi-millionaire winner. I go, that was amazing. What an amazing drasha. You know, it's like unbelievable. And you'll never hear a sincere compliment in your life. You'll never see a genuine smile in your life. Whoever's going to see you is going to smile and get up for you. But it's not you, it's your money. It's nothing. The Rebbe of Melech once came to a certain town after he was Rebbe. And they brought him a soup and kugel, and he took the soup and kugel and he poured it into his bekasher, poured it into his robe. They said, what are you doing? He said, I was in this town many times and I was going on gullus. I came through as a pauper. He said, no one ever gave me food. He said, now that I'm coming with this silk bekasher, you're giving me food. So it must be, it's my bekasher, not me. So it's feeding my bekasher. He says, you never intended to give it to me, right? Okay. Which, of course, as you know, automatically triggers the joke that I think I didn't say it for at least 2 weeks. That this waiter, you know, Chassidish Shingaman, they train him to be a waiter, and he's walking around. So there's French service, and one person has the knishes, and the other guy has the sauce. And all of a sudden, the head waiter comes out, and the guy jumps. Ah! So what do you do? He says, "This sugar just poured sauce into my pocket." He says, why'd you do that? He says, you told me wherever I see someone put a knish, I should put sauce. I can't understand the problems. Okay. So, and of course, there's the general inyan of Mar B'Nechasim, Mar B'Daiga. And then the pain of leaving this world, and one is 120, you know, is much greater if you have millions and millions in the bank, you know, and other people are just waiting to... You know, it's a very, very big problem. You can just imagine. The mega billionaire is lying on his deathbed and his kids are going, how you feeling, Ta? Much better. Oh. Let's stop. You know, right. How you feel? Not so good today. Really? You know, we wish you all the best, you know. Right? Hey, what are you all these problems for? This is absurd. So, remember, if Nachum Breslov has a mashal, he says a story that he once came to a marketplace in Danzig. That was the big marketplace over there. People were screaming and yelling, you know, buying, selling, buying, selling, buying, selling. And he goes, he bangs on the voice. I want to tell you a story. Everyone's all heated up. They're buying, making money. He goes, I want to tell you something. He says, 50 years ago in this same marketplace, people were screaming and yelling, buying, selling, yeah. And none of them are yelling anymore. Just letting you know. You know, whatever you're buying and selling so passionately, just remember it has a big expiration period on it. It comes along with life. He says a marshal that there was a country, they had a very interesting way of picking a king. They went to the garbage dump, and they found some vagabond laying there, and they schlepped him in, and they showered him, they put on the big malchus, gave him a shave, they gave him a quick crash course in being a king, and he was the king, and the minig was he was king for 3 years. He didn't know, this was top secret. End of the 3 years, it came Shkia or Rebbeinu Tam, depending what your whole night was. All of a sudden, he's standing with his loyal subjects, the world is his, they pick him up, they grab him out, rip off his clothes, take away his keys, and dump him back on the garbage dump. So they kept doing this, and one guy, they made him king. He couldn't understand his good luck, they made him king. So he had suspicions. I got to get to the bottom of this, why they made me king. So he all his loyal ministers, he started accompanying them, giving them good positions, and he gave them a lot of incentives and tax breaks and encouragements and federal bailout programs, and they became buddy-buddy. And finally, he said, "What's this?" Well, now I'll tell you. Well, after 3 years, you're out of here. You know. He tells them the story. So at that point, he quickly started the building of a certain palace on the other side of the border. And every single day, he shipped off gold and silver. And on day number under 3 years, when they came in to get him, he just laughed all the way to the bank. They threw him back in the garbage dump. He picked himself up, walked across the border, and said, "Guess what? I was preparing for this day." He goes, a lot of people accumulate wealth and power, and you got to prepare. Reb Chaim Barim, Zechat Tzaddik B'Vracha, said once that success in life is like an escalator. You see people going up, 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 and then they disappear. So all of this for winning the lottery. There's another thing of what happens if you win the lottery. All your life you go around saying, if only I would win the lottery, like as if all your problems are going to go away then. Shalom Bayis problems, health problems, Yerushalayim issues, everything is going to go away if you win the lottery. Then you'll be a tzaddik. I win the lottery, don't worry, I'll have a munah. Yeah, right. They say that a very wealthy man once stopped a poor person on the street. He said, I am so jealous of you. He says, you at least have this dream. And one day you're going to make money and all your problems will be solved. He says, I have money and I see it's not the answer to all my problems. So what can I dream for? What can I dream? We continue our list. Don't worry, we'll be finished by 1 o'clock today, Hashem 1 a.m. Of things that are wrong or things that go sour when you win the lottery. You get used to the idea that the whole world is yours. Okay? No one will ever appreciate a gift you're going to give. You're going to give your wife a gift, that's all, just an $80,000 necklace. The guy said that two people are sitting, and one of them said that my wife got it's like a splinter in her eye, and it cost me $1,000 to get it out. He says, you're complaining? He says, my wife got a mink coat in her eye. It cost me $10,000 to get it out. Mishalachim will come to your house. You'll give them $1,000. $1,000? $1,000? Right? I remember when I was a little boy, so my father's Chalavrach, he used to bring me a toy every Erev Shabbos. He bought me a toy, little car, and I was so excited. And one day I was playing around the basement where I wasn't supposed to, and I opened up a box that I wasn't supposed to touch, and I saw a whole stack of toys. And I said, wow, this Friday I'm getting a whole city of toys, And my father came Friday and he gave me the one toy. I was, what happened? All of a sudden, you don't like it? No. I like it, but the other 100, come on, right? There's a depreciation. There's a devaluation of life, of what you give. Nobody will really appreciate. Okay? So, now we have a problem over here. I said, to my mazel, somebody is going to win the lottery. Boy, we're going to be in trouble. We're going to have to undo this year. We have to do deprogramming over here. Poor guy. There's some crisis intervention therapy. Guess what? You won the lottery. Oh, no. Another story. There was a guy that he had... He had a very serious heart condition, and the nurse calls the doctor. So his wife's on the phone. He goes, he just won the Powerball, but we're scared that for his heart condition, if he hears what it can do to him. Doctors, don't worry, I know how to say it to him. Doctor goes over to him. He says, Mr. Goldberg. He says, yeah. If you won the Powerball, if let's say you won, what would you say? He goes, Doc. If I won, I would give it to you. Doctor fainted flat on his... I had to take care of it. Okay. So I thought maybe, as I was doing, I said, maybe I'm going a little too far over here. Maybe it's not so bad if you win. Maybe there are some good things. Okay. So picked up, I had to go into a bank to get a signature guarantee on something. And so one of the officers, the woman, she says to me, she has a cousin who once won $90 million in the lottery. I said, cheapskate, $90 million. $90 million, schnorrer money, that. Isn't that amazing? If the lottery was $90 million, nobody would... $90 million? $500 million, 90 million, what a joke, $90 million, right? After someone's going to win, right? No more lines. So the Powerball is an ongoing thing. Why don't you go on? Only 50 million. Forget it. No way. Why bother? 50 million. There's 1 in a 10 million chance to win it, which is a lot better than 1 in a 175 million chance to win it. You still have a better chance of being struck by lightning. But so this person says to me, I didn't start the conversation. This woman, this officer, she says to me, I have a friend. She won $90 million in lottery. Do you believe that she comes to us to borrow money? So she has a boat, she has a house, she bought for all her cousins, all her relatives, and the banks are screaming and she can't keep up. She's in trouble. I said, and we try to convince her, sell off. No, she can't sell her. She gave it away to so many people that money, even large amounts of money, they disappear. When they say that this guy goes by, he sees his uncle Moshe there, who he puts up a sign as an English Yid, and it says. Big sign, it says boat for sale in front of his house. He goes, Moshe, his fat to Moshe, he says, you have a boat for sale? So I found this sign, it fits in front of my house. What are you talking about? He says, you have a boat for sale? Yeah. What are you talking about? No, he says, you see these 2 bikes? Yeah, both are for sale. Okay. That must be the same Uncle Moshe that he was delivering chickens, He said, he says, X and He says, how many? He goes, how do you say English? 26 chickens. That's what I have for you. I shouldn't want to take the order. I don't know why. You understand with the Dora Flogger how complicated it was when they messed things up over here? I want to tell you something. Let's get a little bit out of the dream world over here. Let's say, for argument's sake, somebody wins the lottery. Okay, let's just say, for argument's sake, somebody goes and wins the lottery. And let's say you told this person that you should know there's a gzeira min hashamayim that chas v'sholom you will never ever get married. And he has a choice of trading in the lottery for getting married. What would most rational people do? I said most. What if chas v'sholom somebody went to someone who won the lottery and said, you're never going to have children. For $500 million, there's a doctor that can cure you. Right? So most rational people will spend the money. What if somebody chas v'sholom went over to someone else and said, you're never going to have nachas from your children? But we know this is not some kind of a gig, but if you're giving away $500 million to something you'll be able to have nachas, we'll give it away. Give it away. What if chas v'sholom somebody was framed and charged with some type of terrible crime? And there's one lawyer that charges $500 million that can get him off. If not, he spends the rest of his life in prison. Okay? So I ask you, so why don't we just say to ourselves, if Baruch Hashem we're married and have children and have nachas, and no one is charging us with anything, then that's worth $500 million. Maybe that's worth it. This is a true story. I met a yid today, and I know he was waiting for the results of a biopsy. Ahmad al-Islam. He tells me he came back today, and the doctor said it's okay. He says to me, and that lottery guy is going to think he's lucky. You know what I mean? I said, if a person has health, isn't that worth $500 million? Who are we? Yaakov Galinsky always says the story that he was going collecting money, and he was called to a certain house, and the man was distraught. He wasn't happy with who his son was marrying. He said, if you convince him not to marry that girl, I'll give you $1 million. So he said, he calls his home. He calls home. He forgot it was 3 o'clock in the morning. He says, we're rich. We have $10 million. His wife says, what are you talking about? He goes, all our kids married. Who we like them to, we wanted them to marry. She hung up the phone on him. He says, but they got the idea. They got the idea. So we have to stop and think. I think it's kedai to buy one ticket. You don't have to stand in line too much. And then I said, the line is too long for me. I said, what about the gas lines? How come you said, the gas line, he had a certain geschmack. So what was your geschmack in the long gas lines? The rear view mirror. That was the geschmack. How many guys are behind? I'm ahead of you. He says, that was worth it. He says, here, that's not, no rear view mirror, so it's not so geschmack. Not so geschmack. I think it's good to buy one ticket. I heard a guy say, he buys one ticket, not 10, not 100, one ticket. If it's Mashiach to win, he has to do his status. Okay. Buy one ticket. And pick it up every morning in your life. And say, I have a wife, I have children, I have a husband, I have children, I have a job, I have a Beis Medrash to go to, I have a roof over my head, I am a lottery winner! I'm a lottery winner. I'm a lottery winner. I'm great. I am, there's nothing. Now imagine, Rabbi Simon, I have a fellow told me, he did a shidduch. I have the guy comes over to me, this is like super Schachter, charges a lot of money. I mean a lot of money. And he said, I just said for a joke, you have a shidduch for me? One of my kids? He looks at me like, you? I don't deal with people like you. So I tell him, psst. He says, what? I said, bread that is buttered from one side also tastes good. You know what I mean? Get me a gavir. It's like you need bread buttered on both sides. He says, you probably wouldn't want a gavir. I said, I think you're right. So a fellow told me that I'm a gavir. I got a gavir. I got a rich shidduch. Once in I think I mentioned this last week. Somebody said, a nursing home, an old man told me. He said, you know what the word ashir means to be rich? It means you have a nayim, shenayim, right? Yadayim and raglayim. He said, you are rich. You are the richest person in the world. If you just stop and think what kind of lottery ticket you are. I want to bring out a nakuda here. Oh, so this friend of mine told me he did a shidduch with like a person that's so poor you can't imagine, with the sweetest people in the world. So many, many years later he says to me, my son got a dowry of $5 million. From from your mechut. He doesn't know what. He wouldn't even know how many zeros are in. He says, like, think about this. He says that his wife never asked him for a trip to Florida, never asked him for this, never asked him for that, never asked him for another apartment. He says, add all of that up, how much it is. You have to get the money and give it. He says, well, they got it, you know. Hey, if we had seichel, you buy a lottery ticket and wake up in the morning. The Michas Elazar, he had a Talmud that used to go to the local hospital, and he would ask, is Chaim Rosenberg here? His name was Chaim Rosenberg. They would look up on the Rolodex and say, no, he's not here. He'd walk out and say, can I give you a Shebach by Torah by Nishalayla? So buy a lottery ticket and say to yourself, I am a lottery winner. And I want to say this, how many, just imagine for a moment, you woke a guy up, you know, a wife wakes up a husband, Beryl, wow. I'm looking at the newspaper. What's your number? 6934. 6934. One! You won the Mega Million! How many times I tell you, don't wake me up. I'm sleeping. You don't care. You know, you don't care. Don't wake me up. I'm sleeping. Get out of bed. Go. I'm not getting out of bed. I'm not going, right? You know. Go to the bank and, claim the thing. They're so rude in that bank. No, I'm not going. Get onto the train. Go to Manhattan to the lottery office. I don't drive a train. I don't like trains. You wait so long for the train. Crazy how long the train takes to wait. Go. We're rich. Don't tell me what to do. Right? Imagine the guy said that. He said it was wrong. But I don't mean dafka, the wife, husband, wife. I mean, it goes both ways. I said, when someone has a spouse and he has children, but you're angry about this and angry about that, and angry at this, but angry at that, so what are you doing? You're a lottery winner. You know, you could sit down to a Seder table with a beautiful family. You could sit down Leil Shabbos Kodesh to a beautiful family. But because you're angry about this and angry about that, no. You're going to make a whole fight in your house. Your mother said this, your father said that. You are the same person who won the lottery and says he's not going to cash it in because he's angry at him and angry at him. You're the same thing. You're taking your lottery and you're throwing it out. What are you doing? What are you doing? So Yaakov Avinu, it says he was chazer acher pachim ketanim, that he went back even after the little tiny jugs. In fact, the Medrash says, famous Medrash, that he was must never himself to go back after a little jug, and that was the Nes Chanukah. That was the B'shvul Zazochi Yisrael Nes Chanukah. This says another Medrash says that Pach Shemen was the actual Pach that they found. So what's with Yaakov? And why is he going back after a little jug made out of earthenware? Why is he going back for it? Because he was scared that his kids won't have anything to drink. I guess they didn't drink out of bottles, you see. I say. One of my kids once told me that, he was traveling from Yerushalayim, from Iran, with an extremely hot day, and there were 4 Rosh Hashivas in the car, and there was mamish 4 cold bottles of water. Not one of them drank, because there was no cup. I said something to him to have charota to this day. I shouldn't have said it. I said to him, I want to see one Rosh Hashiva in the car, and he doesn't drink. You know what I mean? If there's 4, chas v'shalom. I don't need to make fun of Rosh Hashivas in any way whatsoever. So Yaakov goes back after the Pachim Ketan. This is one would have been a higher madreg. I'm not saying the name was 4 would have. Now, Yaakov Avinu, right, goes back after the Pachim Ketan. Goes back after the little jug. That's what he goes back after. So Chazal say why? Because chaviv aleim memoinam yoiser migufa. Their money is more chaviv to them. By a tzaddik, his money is more chaviv than his guf. By a tzaddik, his money is more chaviv, more beloved to him than his guf? What does that mean? So, Kabbalah, everything you have, everything you own, has neshamas in it, okay. What about the Pashup Pshat? What does it mean by a tzaddik? His money is more chaviv to him than his guf. The Al-Shach HaKadosh says that the Rabbi Shalom has a custom. What's the Kadosh Baruch Hu's custom? What's the Kadosh Baruch Hu's minig? HaKadosh Baruch Hu's minig is, the more we're thankful for, the more He gives us. The more we're thankful for, the more the Rabbi Shalom gives us. I was in Rav Palm's house several times. Not much. It was the most simple house you could imagine. And he knew exactly where everything was. Simple table, simple curtain, simple like a pashtus you can't imagine. And you felt like you were in the house of a multi-billionaire. There was such an appreciation for life, such an akaras hatayv to the Bayri Olam, for the chair, for the carpet, I can't explain it. It was like you literally felt you were in a tzaddikim chavev aleim memoinam yoiser megufam, more the Chavetz Chaim's house. It's legendary. He didn't have a carpet, didn't have a floor. It was just the earth. He said, "What do you need? What do you need a floor for? Yeah, the earth is there anyway." It was a very special house then. It was a rich house. Tzaddikim chavev aleim memoinam yoiser megufam. They don't take anything for granted. So the Chavetz Chaim says, Yaakov Avinu said to Esav, Yeshli Kyle, I have everything. And Esav said, no, you're not going to give me gifts. Yeshli Roy. There's a difference, says the Chavetz Chaim, between Kyle and Roy. Roy means, hey, I have almost more, I'm getting more and more. I just need a little more to have more than someone else. Yeshli Kyle means I have everything. So Yaakov, in a way, he kind of... the one hand threatens Esav, and the one hand he's talking tough to Esav. And Yaakov says, "Vahili shar b'chamar." So you have shar b'chamar. What does that mean? Okay, so all different shatim. Shar is Yosef. That's Mashiach ben Yosef. B'char shar hardalai. Chamar is Melech HaMashiach with David HaMelech. Oni roichev ala chamar is going to be riding on the donkey. Some say shar means he mastered over Gaiva. The Ber Moshe says chamar means he mastered Gaiva. And then once heard a beautiful shot, and I think the Rabbeinu Bechaya says it if you look very closely. You know what Yaakov said? I have an appreciation for everything I have in my life. I believe I deserve nothing. I deserve to be hit by lightning. And if the Rebbeinu Shalom gave me a shar and a chamar, I say, Boyrei Kalelamim, thank you for this gift. Take a look at Rashi. Rashi says, Really shar v'chamar, but he had more than one shar and one chamar. So the derech of a person is to call many oxen one shar. Derech of a person is to call, many animals one. I have horse, but he means many horses. What does that mean? Why does Rashi say it that way? Because once you get into the numbers game, then you're trying to outnumber somebody. To Yaakov Avinu, it's a million oxen or one ox. It's a gift from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Rebbe Hashem gives me what I need. He's not trying to show someone else that he's better off. Mashi? I think it went off. There's Mashi. Left the middle of Shir. Oh, there you are. Okay. You want to redial? Okay. He said he is not trying to show, that he's better off than someone else. That's what Rashi means to say. Esav was into the numbers game. I got more. I got better. I'm besting someone else. Yaakov said, whatever I have is a gift. Now, there's a klal gadol ki yedua. It is a very, very well-known thing. As the Al-Shach says, when you have an appreciation for what you have, there's a tremendous siyata d'shmaya of bracha. There is a tremendous protection. So this was a threat to Esav. Yaakov said, Vahili shar v'chamar. I consider the shar v'chamar such a gift from the Bayri Olam. I have such a karas hatayv that you should know. This has such a siyata d'shmaya, you better look out. You better look out. So it says like this. Take a look in the Rashi. Rashi says, Kiva makli avarti es Yarden. With my stick I crossed the Yarden. It says Rashi tu pshatim. What's the first pshat in Rashi? I was only left with my stick. Because Eliphaz grabbed me, took everything away from me. I was left with nothing. Because Eliphaz wanted to kill Yaakov. And he said, listen, ani chashav k'nes. Someone's poor, that's considered as if he died. So you already killed me. You were Mekayim your father's psak. So all he left him was with his stick. It's interesting. Somebody wanted to throw out a bacher. And he came to the stipler. Thank you, Mish. Somebody wanted to throw out a bacher and he came to the stipler. And the stipler was very against throwing out bacher. And of course, every situation is different. Because there was a Messiah from the Chazaynish. Chazaynish almost never let anyone throw out a bacher. Again, every case is different. You can't judge. But it's interesting. The Rav Zilberstein brings a story that a Rosh Hashiva once came to the Chazaynish and said he wanted to throw out a bacher. I don't know if he was Rosh Hashiva or administrator, whatever the case was. But they were someone in charge of the Yeshiva. And the Chazaynish said, I'll tell you, to throw out a bacher, he'll never do a shidduch, especially in the middle of the year, that's shvichas dam.
For Shvichas Damim, you need a Bezdin Shalchav Gimel. So go find 23 Dayanim. Bring them here. You have to pass. You can't even pass Din in the Fashis. He goes, but I cannot run the yeshiva if he's there. He stops me. He goes, But for you to leave the yeshiva, that's just Dinei Mominus, he said. So Dinei Mominus, that's with only 3. And a Yochid Mumcha could also do it. So I pass and you can leave the yeshiva. That's what the Chazayim is. It's not a problem. So you can get a job someplace else. It's not going to ruin your life. So the Stipler told this person, he said, you can't throw the person out. He says, why not? He says, so the guy wanted to bring her, he says, because he'll be in the yeshiva, the guy said, he's a ganef. This kid steals everything. You turn your eyes, it's gone. You turn around, the chair is gone. He says, the kids, nobody wants to be in his room, everything disappears, it's gone. Everything is gone. I don't know why this story came to my mind when I was, I have to do tshuva on all your bacharish things. I was in a yeshiva once, the guys thought they were going to play a prank on the menahel. Very rough on Rosh Hashivas today in Menahel. I don't mean anything. It's just so they took his this Menahel had like a stender, a nice little sitting stender with a nice velvet thing, and he got himself a nice comfortable chair. And Bacharim being Bacharim, and we got even with him. So on Purim, they took out his nice comfortable chair and his little stender, and they put it in front of the Bacharim put it in front of the building. I said, not nice, but they did. And we were waiting for the Menal to come in and see his chair and stender in front of the building. This is Purim morning. Meanwhile, we ran to hide. We forgot that was garbage day. And the garbage truck pulled up and went, oh no! And I still remember running, and like to our horror, we saw the last part of the chair getting crunched. It was like, oh, crunch! You know? And we were like, uh-oh. Then this Manal came and goes, where's my chair? You don't want to know. All right. I think every chassan before he gets married, you sit down and you go through from kindergarten, okay, till wherever you, and ask mechila from every Rebbe, every English teacher, every person, there's like a lot. I think we got a lot of peklach over there. All right. So the Steifer said, you can't throw him out because he's a gan if you can't throw him out. So he said that it'll change him. Eventually will be in yeshiva. So the guy is going to bring the Steifer a raya. He's smarter than the Steifer. He said, Eliphaz grew up on Yitzchak's lap. And he stayed a ganef. Didn't help. The Stipler said, yeah. And he stayed a ganef. And he did not become a Ritzayach. And that's why you exist and I exist. Because if he would have killed Yaakov, the reason he didn't kill Yaakov was because he grew up on Yitzchak's lap. He says, yeah, if all you accomplish is you keep him a ganef and not a Ritzayach, you keep him in the yeshiva. Again, every case is different, I don't mean to judge, but that's the aside as far as we're concerned, in our own lives, when we want to throw someone out of our life. So Yaakov is left just with a stick and nothing else. That's the first pshat. I had nothing but a stick. What does Rashi say in the second pshat? In the second pshat, Rashi says, I put my stick into the Yarden and it split into two. So the pendulum is swinging very wide over here in this Rashi. You start out by telling me, what's Yaakov's message? What has my stick? I put the stick in the Yarden split. Now, you want to tell me at the beginning of the parasha there's a double message. He says, I'm loving Garti, I was just a ger, but I'm tiring to Shemarti. So then he was talking to Esav. When you're talking to Esav, that's diplomacy. A very good Secretary of State speaks very nice, speaks very polite, and lets the person know. Okay, next week we'll talk a story about this. And he lets the person know, I'm very nice, I'm very polite, but if you don't do what I want, then, I don't know if your country will exist tomorrow. That's diplomacy. So he's talking to Esav, you speak both ways. You want to be nice, I'll be nice. You don't want to be nice, I won't be nice. However, here Yaakov is talking to the Vayishlach. So there's no double message, there's one message. So what is the message that Yaakov wants to say to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Does he want to say, all I had was a stick? Or does he want to say, thank you Hashem that I split the Yarden? How could you give a conflicting message? So I think it's B'Shem the Kotzker, I'm not sure. That's totally zeh. There are times in our life we feel we lost everything. And the only thing we are left with is just the stick. And you want to give up. My life is finished. My reputation is gone, chas v'shalom, my money is gone, whatever this problem the person has. I want to give up. All I have is my stick. And you throw in the towel. And you have some people that say, Rabbi Shalom, you gave me a stick. Then life goes on with this stick. And when you have the courage to say, Rabbi Shalom, I know I lost all my money. I know I lost everything. I lost everything that's dear to me. I am so hurt. I don't see any way Al Pi Derech HaTeva going to be able to recover. All I have is a stick. But if HaKadosh Baruch Hu, all you left me is this stick, then my life will go on with the stick. Then guess what? When you have the courage to do that, that stick becomes so powerful that you can split a river with it. You can split the Yarden with it. These two pshatim in Rashi are connected to each other because Yaakov said all I was left with was my stick. And Al Pi Derech HaTeva, it's a mission impossible to go to love and I'll be overwhelmed. And he says, no, you left me the stick. I go with the stick. I don't give up. That all of a sudden that stick becomes a stick that you can split the Yarden with. You know, Yaakov Avinu says, it says by Shlomo Melech, when Ashmedai threw him, so many years he was away from Yerushalayim, and first he was king of the world, king of Yerushalayim, and then what was he king of? He was just king over his stick, Melech al Maklai. So the Katzka says, what does that mean, king over his stick? And the answer is, because Shlomo said, I lost Yerushalayim, I lost the world, I lost being king over the Chayas and Oifis, all Hashem left me is my stick, and fine, I'm king over my stick. I'm not going to get depressed. I'll do what I can with the stick. Life goes on. So now, Yaakov Avinu says, you know, people say in World War II, how come the Jews didn't fight back? You weren't there and I weren't there. But it's very hard if you have a whole family go fight back. You know, what's with your wife and children? Who's fighting? What fighting? Soldiers with wives and kids. It doesn't usually work. That's why they take 18, 19-year-old kids. Now Yaakov could have said like this, you gave me a large family. What, to kill them? To get killed by Esav? I can't run now. I have this huge shtei machnos of wives and children. I don't know where to go. I'm stuck. Esav is coming to kill me. I'm a sitting duck. Instead, what does Yaakov say? At this moment, we could have said, I'm so vulnerable, and his wives were upset at him, whatever that means. But that's what the Medrash says. They said, why did you make us leave Laban's house if you knew Esav wants to kill you? So Yaakov could have said, my wives have tainas on me, I can't manage my kids, I'm vulnerable, I'm a liability, I can't hide, I can't run. What is going on here? Instead he says to the Bari Olam, you're so kind. You gave me a wife and children. He's not angry that anyone had tainas on him. He's not upset that his children under these circumstances are a liability. Yaakov musters up the courage to say, look what you did. Look what you did. And Yaakov knew that the more he veers away from the complaint mode and the closer he comes to the Hakaras HaTov mode, a true appreciation for his wife and children, even during a time of war, when someone's coming after you with 400 generals, a wife and children is not a good thing technically to have. You can argue they're all going to be killed and I can't run, and what's happening? And Yaakov says, at this moment, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I won the lottery, I have a wife and children, when you have that kind of a Hakaras HaTov, you have the Siyata D'Shmaya, you got a special heavenly protection that no one else had. Give a makli avarti asayad. And if you think about our parents or grandparents, depending how old you are, they were able to rebuild coming out of the concentration camp, to have the courage to get married. The Kloser Rebbe once said that anyone that was normal after a concentration camp had to be insane. And they were able to do it. I once heard a mashal from Rabbi Yoina first. He said that the Talmud of Michal Ber. He said the king once called in his advisor. He goes, I just had a frightening dream. What was your dream? In the dream I dreamt that whoever eats some next year's wheat is going to go mad. He said, what's going to happen? So what's your problem? The whole country is going to eat from it. He says, we'll all go mad together. He goes, that's not going to work, said the king. If the whole country eats from it, and I'm not going to eat from it, yeah, they're going to be crazy, right? And I'm going to be normal, right? So I'll look crazy. So he said, no. You'll eat and they'll eat. We'll all be crazy together, so we'll all be normal. We'll all be crazy together. We'll all be normal. So why did Hashem give me the dream for? So what am I gaining by this? What's the difference between me and my people? What the difference is, you, your majesty, you're going to know you're crazy. They're not going to know they're crazy. That's the difference. You know, it's important to know that our parents were insane. They were insane that they had the courage to rebuild after what they went through. It's beyond our imagination. Rabbi said it many times. The rebuilding of Torah was l'mayla min hateva. It was beyond nature. Doesn't make sense. Satmar Rebbe once said that be careful with your children, they may be your parents. That we have multiplied, Baruch Hashem, the Leibish Devaitel in this fashion and rebuilt, is because the Kodesh Baruch Hu is sending down all these neshamas that were killed during the Holocaust. He says, just be careful. Because whatever the Rabbi Hashem's cheshbainis are, but it is l'mayla miderech hatev. L'mayla miderech hatev. So now, the whole Yisoid, really, of Parashas Vayishlach, is for us to recognize, just to recognize who we are. So buy your one ticket. Buy your one ticket, you know? You want to buy 2 tickets. It's a big mile to buy 2 tickets. This is a one in a 175 million chance. You know what I mean? And if you buy 2 tickets, so that makes it a 1 in what chance? Like 87 million chance. So, 87. Oh, now I have a chance, right? When they say if Rothschild was a Muhammad, he would have been even more rich because he would have got the Hanukkah money, right? He would have. I want to tell you, so I want to wrap things up, Rabbi Say. You know, they said there was a fellow. He was called Matal the Nar, Matal the Fool. Then he became a chassan. He was very happy. By his chuppah, he was crying uncontrollably. He said, why are you crying? He said, all my life I was called Matal the Nar. He said, now the last couple of weeks, people say, there's Matal the chassan. So what's the problem? He says, now that I'm getting married, I'm going to become again Matal the Nar. He says, I'm going back to where I was. Going back to where you were, the everyday grind. If you could come home and you smile and you say, I'm going to keep, that is the biggest lottery winner in the world. You daven Shachris, Mincha, Mariv, even though you don't see you're winning the lottery and you're struggling to pay the next bill, that is the biggest thing. And I'll share with you a little vignette. Is that the right word? Vignette. Shkaich. I learned in the... instead of being by English, I was outside with the tables. One of my kids, he was like 9 years old. There was a Chinese auction in shul. So he decided they were raffling off a fiddle, a cheap fiddle. I don't know if it was toy or real or semi-real. He wanted that fiddle. Okay? He needed a fiddle like I need a hood ornament on my Astro. You know what I mean? He needed a fiddle. But he had his heart set on the fiddle. He wanted that fiddle so badly. So I made a mistake. I think I made a mistake. Chinuch-wise, I made a mistake. Because I told him, so say Tillim, you should win. So the poor kid took out Tillim and cried his heart out for 2 hours. And he went to sleep and he was sure he was going to win. He didn't win the fiddle. You know? And he woke up the next morning and I said, did you win? I said, no. But how could it be? I said, Tillim. Somebody else said Tillim better than you. So I told him, this is the truth. I said, listen, Hashem heard your tefillos. And Hashem said, I can give you the fiddle, but there was such beautiful tefillos. What a pity to waste it on a fiddle. You know, as a 9-year-old kid, he wasn't very happy with that answer. He was not appeased. You know, later he became bar mitzvah. So I remember, and the other bar mitzvahs, I didn't have any music by the bar mitzvah. Never had. He wanted very much to have music, and at the end, I don't know, somebody came in and offered to play, whatever, semi-professional, or it was good enough. And he was so happy with the music. And I called him over. I said, tell me, what would you have rather had? Your fiddle, which you would have been excited with the first day, would have driven us crazy, going, and it would have wound up on your shelf to be broken by your sister the next day, or to have music by your bar mitzvah. What would you have rather had? He thinks, and he says, I'd rather have the music by my bar mitzvah. Shoo. I said, so maybe Hashem held your tefillah, you should have the music by your bar mitzvah. Okay, he was appeased. You know, he got into a yeshiva that was very hard to get into. And when he passed the test, I said, what would you have rather, gotten into the yeshiva or the fiddle? And now he smiled. You know, when he was a chassan, I went over to him by his chuppah, and I said, you rather have the fiddle or this? And now he outright laughed, you know. When he had his first baby, so this is how he called me to tell me he had a baby, you know. He said, huh? Yeah? I said, Baruch Hashem, I got a baby and not a fiddle. You know, we dive into Hashem, our tefillos are answered. The Rabbi Shalom loves us. He has Rahmanis on his creations. He takes our tefillah and says, you know, imagine if we would get whatever we want. We'd have a whole world walking around with fiddles. You know, then what? The Rebbeinu Shem knows when we need it. I remember once I was carrying a thing of seltzer. This is not the first thing I spilled here tonight. And the bottom of the box was wet. It was glass bottles. I don't know why we still have glass bottles of seltzer. But I guess I should have stories. We're walking up the stairs and the bottom of the case gave way and clunk. The bottles came rolling down the stairs. And I remember saying, oh no, it's a nest if it doesn't break. And clunk, 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 and not a single bottle broke. And I went, huh? One of my kids said, what a waste of a nest. Like if we were going to have a miracle in our life, we wasted it. Bottles? Rabbi say, buy one ticket, not to win. To remind yourself in the course of your life that you won the lottery. The Sfas Emes says a person who has Yiras Shamayim, right? A person who doesn't, the Gemara says in Schachter Shabbos, if someone doesn't have Yiras Shamayim, just as Torah, it's like he has a house, but he has no keys to the house. You have Yiras Shamayim, you have keys to the house. He says the Chanukah you light by the door, because it's the key to Yiras Shamayim. So one sort of beer like this. Say the Tzaddik says something can like that. The Chazal say that the mezuzah is on the right side, and the Ner Chanukah is on the left side. Now, a mezuzah, how do we put a mezuzah on, Rabbi Sai? Put it crooked. Why do we put the mezuzah crooked? Anyone know? Because there's a machlokes, Rashi and Rabbeinu Tam, same machlokes regard to the Sefer Torah and the Aron Kodesh, whether it's supposed to be vertical or it's supposed to be horizontal. So we make up shara, and what do? We put it slanty. So you know the story that the painter goes and he does. We take up all the mezuzahs, he paints the whole house. He comes back and the Italian, Puerto Rican, whatever painter, a wonderful gentleman, he put up all the mezuzahs. I said, Ricky, why'd you put up the mezuzahs? He says, I work up for Jews so many years, I know how to do it myself. Really? And he passed in the shilas on which the Yemin HaNichnas, which side to put it on. He put on an angle. He says, he says, I know so good. I was even to take out the instructions from inside and put them away. He says, I don't need it. Why is the mezuzah crooked? Now, normally, it's a machlokes Rashi Rabbeinu Tam. You either pass like Rashi, you pass like Rabbeinu Tam. Right? Also, we have a pshara. Because the key to bracha in a house is pshara. You walk into your house, you look at the crooked mezuzah, and it doesn't have to be your way. Compromise, bend if it need be. You know, in life, you have to know sometimes when to give in, and you have to know when you have to have Mesiras Nefesh. And that's the school of Chanukah. You have the mezuzah biyamin, the greater kayach is giving in, and you have the ner Chanukah on the left side. There's times you have to have Mesiras Nefesh, and you're in the middle. It gives you the siyata d'shmaya, you know, when you have to take control, when you say, no, I am bowing down, because I don't want to lose my lottery ticket. Well, the guy somebody told me that he once got a ride in a taxi, and the taxi driver said, no, I used to be a banker. He says, yeah, right, okay. You know why I'm driving a taxi? Oh, why? Hopefully I'm running away from a bank robbery here. And why are you driving a taxi? He says, I am like middle management. I said, I'm sick of people telling me what to do. The guy goes, you heard me? Yeah. The driver turns and says, what do you have to say? He says, hey, please make a left. You have to know when to give in and when to do it. There's a beautiful story going around. Rav Meir Stern, venerable Rosh Hashivas today, Talmud of Rabbi Aaron, said that all of his ksavim, all of his writings, were being prepared to be printed, and it was in someone's basement in Seagate. Lifetime of writings. It's from the most beautiful shiurim in the world. You know, his talmidim are. It's the sweetness of Torah and the greatness of Pilpul and everything put together. It's mamish the kiddush of Rabbi Aaron and his talmidim. They said that the person, I heard this from several sources, that it was like on kind of a desk, and when the water flooded the basement, the desk like started floating in the water, and it was floating, and the water level was almost to the top of the desk, and it came down, and the ksavim were perfect. Nothing was touched. You know, Torah Lishma, it survives storms. It survives, and in our life, we have to realize also there are times it looks like the water lifts us, and we're about to drown. But we have to push on. We have to push on. It says Chanukah is osir behesped of a tainus. Why is Chanukah osir behesped of a tainus? It's the first halach in Chanukah. Well, think about it. What's the first halach in Chanukah? No eulogies. Can't fast. I really wasn't up to fasting anyway. So the same thing from the Brisker Rava. It's not the reason it's the first halach in Hilchos Chanukah is because the ruach of Chanukah has to be a ruach of courage, a ruach of simcha. And right afterwards it says, but it's mutter vasiyas malach, and the Mishnah Berurah says that, and you better go to work, because he brings some the chacham tzvi, people don't go to work, the tail of avil deshima. We're not starting Hilchos Chanukah by saying you're not allowed to fast. What does that have to do with me? We're saying you're not allowed to be in the mood of fasting. You're not allowed to be in the mood of eulogies. Life has to go on. There has to be bracha to life. You keep on going. It says the Medrash says Ner Chanukah is on the left side, and the mezuzah is on the right side. V'adam b'talis mitziyetz, as a person wearing tzitzis in the middle. There's person, place, and time. The person is the tzitzis, the place is the mezuzah, and time is the Ner Chanukah, which was burnt at night. He says, Rabbani Shalom, my life is yours. I'm in your hands. Your hands. The Rebbe Rabbunim, I'll conclude with this, was once walking, and he saw someone was about to drown. And sometimes when a person's drowning, he fights off his rescuers. And he saw what was happening. And the Rebbe Rabbunim, everyone was screaming, jump, grab the rope, no, grab the rope, and he's screaming. And the Rebbe Rabbunim says, I'm going down, I'm going down. The Rebbe Rabbunim says, you're going down. Send regards to the Levi Yasson. So the guy, everyone stopped. Even he stopped thrashing. What? Cracked a smile, and he says, afterwards they saved him. So the Rebbe Rabbunim, he said to the Rebbe Rabbunim, like, what a time to make jokes, he said, you don't understand, they saw you were about to die. It was Gzeim and the Shemayim. That mashu of simcha, that's what saved you. The Rabbi Shalom tells us when we're about to drown, a little bit of simcha, a little bit of akaras hatayv, and you should know that you won the lottery of a lifetime.